Greetings and welcome to the third session of Edusum. I have with me today Coffee Davis, writer. I have a whole list. Hold on, let me get my list out. Medusa, writer of Medusa. She's also a writer. On top of that, she's a poet, artist, playwright, speaker, mother, wife. I could go on and on and on. But I'll also let her introduce herself in 1 second. But I want to let you know we're getting ready to talk about cuties, right? So there's been this big cancel Netflix hashtag, and we're going to wait just a couple more seconds for more people to join in. I can see we have one viewer already. Thank you for joining us. And we're also going to figure out how to share it to our pages. So, Coffee, when you feel like it, introduce yourself and I'm going to try to share to my page right quick. We have 2 views. Hey, how you guys doing? Feel free to jump in the chat box and ask us any questions. We're just logging on right now and waiting for a couple more people to join us. But we're going to be talking about cuties. So I don't know if you all have seen it. If you have, feel free to jump in the chat box. Also, please share this video as we're live streaming so that more people can get the information. I'm trying to go find it right now on my page. I can share it too. Here we go. There you go. So, there we go. Share. Okay, can I make a watch party? Yes, I can. I did it. I made a watch party. I think. All right. So, Coffee, were you able to share too?
I believe so. Let me go check.
Okay. Oh, yay, Clarice. I made it. Ashe.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Awesome.
Let me fix my.
Make me happy. Okay. All right.
Make sure I put it up.
Straighten my stuff out.
All right. So I think 3 is plenty. I'm excited. We're going to head and get started. I'm going to reintroduce everyone again right quick. But first, I'm going to tell you what we're talking about. So again, welcome to Edusum, right? So Edusum is the root word of educate. Educe means to bring out, right? So we already have all the knowledge and information inside of us. A lot of times we just need to pull it out and really talk about and discuss so that we can understand it, right? So that's what Edusum is about. It's about breaking down information, taking different perspectives, and let's just have a conversation about it. So today we are talking about cuties. I saw an article on my page and I was like, okay, let me click. I watched the video. I was like, oh my God, right? So then I keep reading the article and I was like, oh, that's not what this is really about. Let me go try and watch the movie, right? So I watched the movie and I was like, oh my gosh, let me see if anybody else has had this. And then I just got a lot of feedback in my timeline. Coffee and Clarice both responded. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves right quick because they can always introduce themselves better than me. But I gave Coffee a short introduction, so I'll give Clarice one as well. Short, brief introduction, and then I'll let her introduce herself. Mm-hmm. Clarice, activist, poet, dancer, teacher, extraordinaire. I could go on and on and on. Mother, wife, right? Ashe, but I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourselves because you can do better than me. Okay. Oh, let me introduce myself. I'm tripping. My name is China. Okay. I'm also a mother, actress, dancer, and I'm a professor at a local HBCU here, and I also do some consulting work. But this is what I love to do, right? I love to have conversations about stuff that I need to talk to somebody else about. So I'm going to go ahead and let Coffee and Clarice introduce themselves, and then we'll get started.
Coffee.
Okay, I was going to say Clarice. So I'm an author, a poet. I have 2 books. Well, actually 3 books. One of them is my memoir, Medusa, Reflections of an Angry Black Girl, which is why I'm interested in topics like such. I also have a book of poetry that accompanies that. And then I have another book of poetry called Ghetto Politics. And that is just a collection of poems that I've created over the years. As many know, I was a poet on the Little Rock poetry scene for a while. And I traveled regionally with Foreign Tongues Poetry Troupe. So I'm a playwright. So I've done theater, I've done film, indie films, and I'm just basically an all-around creative writer.
Yes.
As well as a mother, a wife, all the above, community leader.
I say.
Yes. If you can still hear me, can you still hear me?
Yes, hear you well.
Okay. I'm frozen in my faces, but I'm gonna continue until I unstick. Okay. All of those things China so graciously said, and I appreciate that. And I'm really excited because these two beautiful women I've known for a minute, and I'm really they inspire and they do great work. And so thank you for inviting me to this panel, because Cuties is something to talk about. All of the other beautiful things she said, but I also am a co-founder or co-director of a nonprofit. I've been working with youth for a long time. Ouachita Foothills Youth Media Arts and Literacy Collective, and we work with young people with oral history, telling their stories, talking about social determinants. And other issues that are passionate to them, and letting them express it in the ways that they know how. The main thing is solutions-based journalism is part of that, and them also using their art form to tell their stories. And it's mainly been oral history, and interviewing other people, especially elders, about their history and things like that. And then I do a slew of other things, but I'm really excited to be here and to chat about. So thank you.
Very awesome. I'm excited. I think Coffee kind of hit the nail on the head for all of us. She said, I'm a creative. I think if you can see, all of us are definitely creators, right? And definitely proponents of young girls in particular. So I have a couple things I want to do, but my first thing I want to know from each of you can go in whatever order you want to. I want to know how you found out about Cuties. If you watched the trailer before you watched the movie, and just what was your initial response? I got to over mine. When I first, so what was the initial response, and what made you go watch the film?
Okay, I'm frozen again, but as long as you can hear me, then we're good.
And I can see you.
So you actually, because I've been trying to catch up on so many Netflix. I'm watching what is it? Craft?
Lovecraft.
Yes. I'm watching that, and Harlots is another one.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
Harlot.
I think Harlots is on Hulu though, so you may want to check that. But I'll send you guys the link. Anyway, very interesting about female positivity, sexual freedom, and all those good things. Anyway, but you were the one that introduced me to Cuties, and so I was like, oh wait, I'm sure I would have eventually gotten to it, but I was like, okay, let me look at this. These some young little girls. Let me look at it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, for me, I guess I saw it around on social media. You know how you kind of just scroll past stuff, and I saw all the negative reviews, and I didn't see the trailer, but I saw the pictures, and I was like, ooh, that's a little much, But and I kind of felt that wave of what people were saying. But then, and I don't even know that I had a desire to watch it until I saw it was Chris James' post. I think I watched it, and just his response to it. He made a response about girls and their sexuality and just watching his own daughters, and I was just like, okay, well, I might need to watch that. It was sparking such a conversation, and so I watched it that day, and then I think that same day I saw your post. And I was like, yeah, let me watch this right now.
Right.
So
I made it a point not to look at any reviews.
Mhm.
I didn't want to. I wanted to just watch the movie and see for myself first.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I told you guys, I saw this article. So I'm gonna share with you guys the article that I saw. So you guys, please let me know when you can see the screen because I can't see it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I think
It's thinking right now.
it's
Okay,
syncing.
there it is.
Okay. It's there. Okay. I think.
Well, okay, yeah, it's there.
Okay. What is this? This it? No. Okay. This one's it. Okay. I'm sorry. I got like 3 tabs. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so hopefully you can see it pretty good on your screen. But
Mhm.
and I'll add this link in the chat box so you guys can look at it as well. I want to go to the top though. So at the top of this one, they have like a short video just kind of, explaining what all the controversy is over. But when you come here, these people have literally they created a movement. I saw a post that said like Netflix, like
Cancel
the
Netflix.
yeah, the people who like were literally canceling their subscription. There was a percentage. They could count like a percentage of how many people canceled their subscriptions based on these hashtags, right?
Right.
So Netflix must stop providing platforms to films that have sexually exploited children, right? So they're saying that there's sexual exploitation happening in the film, making it seem like there's rape or things of that nature happening in the film. This one says Netflix should explain to the public why it is distributing a film, Cuties, that appears to sexually exploit children and endanger child welfare. Right? I don't need to watch Netflix Cuties to know that they are promoting pedophilia. The trailer was enough, right? So then this is the first trailer that I saw, right? So I'm thinking that this is an official trailer. It's not a trailer. This is something that somebody spliced together, okay? And this is what a lot of people were responding to. So hopefully everybody can see it and we're kind of synced in time. But I'm gonna if it's not syncing, let me know and I'll just stop it. But otherwise, you can go watch it on your own.
Okay.
But basically, it's a dance. I'm sorry, I'm gonna make it big. I'm gonna make it big. There we go.
I don't care if you really wanna trust me. I just wanna dance with me. I know my shit, but you don't find. Always take a little chance like an outside. Think you know I'm hitting on my way. Everybody got a thing when you see me. You wish my mates make love to the little thing. Then to get down and get smoked with the left angle. I don't wanna hear that I'm better than you. Show me what you got, make me feel like confused. You and me together, kinda make a dream too. Ooh, what this nigga saw me for and you. And you don't. You what? No, wait, who? I'm you. Huh? I know my shit that you on fire. Hold up, my bitches are coming. Do you want me to stay? Do you want me to go? You just have to tell me, cause I need to know. I don't wanna feel like you want me to do.
I'm gonna pause right there. Hopefully that was enough for everyone to get an understanding of why people were okay. Cool. Okay, so were you all able to see that?
Yes.
I saw it.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so so that's the clip I saw right before I watched the movie, which is just the dance scene at the very end of the movie. So we've kind of been through a lot before we get to that scene. You know what I'm saying? And so, of course, my initial response was like, whoa, what is really happening? But as I continue to read, they explain kind of the background that it's the debut film for a Senegalese French filmmaker. The film also won at the Sundance Film Festival, right? And so when I started reading that, I was like, okay, I'm missing something, right? And so they talk about the contradiction between her culture versus Western culture, right? And her trying to figure out the difference between these two spaces. And that's definitely not seen in the clip that I just showed you, right? As a matter of fact, the clip I showed you remind me of like high school dance team.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you literally have to watch the entire movie. You can't watch trailers and clips to get the full understanding of what. And her name is Ami.
Yeah, Ami.
To even understand what Ami was going through, you have to watch the movie from start to finish. And if you're watching little clips of the dancing, you will be outraged. I mean, you will be like, oh my God, like who did this to these little girls? But you have to watch it.
But that was the purpose, right? I think that was her purpose. Like in that particular scene, you're supposed to be outraged. And when I went back and looked at that scene, like the parents were, nobody was like, hey, go get little girl. No, everyone's like, how about, everybody was really uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable watching. Why are they? But we're gonna get into these scenes. But I want you to talk to me a little bit about bandwagoning. And I know that this is like a term, but it's also peer pressure. You know what I'm saying? That's another way to talk about it. But the difference between peer pressure is like your friends are making you do it. But bandwagoning, you're kind of just jumping on. You know what I'm saying? Kind of doing what everybody else is doing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely. This is a bandwagon cancel culture right now. So I think sometimes people just like to have things to talk about. And I actually forgot about I did see the cancel Netflix first. And it did make it seem like, oh my gosh, the activism in you wants to stand, in solidarity with things that are going on. So that was my first instinct that, oh, they're exploiting girls. And like you said, when you look at the film, when you look at the clips that they show, or just the posters that they show, it does give you a feeling or a vibe that it's going to be all about that. And you get it so out of context that you can't discern for yourself whether or not you'd enjoy this film. And I see that happening with so many things, in social media nowadays, where conversations are taken out of context. And it's not until you listen to the whole conversation that you feel a little bit bamboozled.
Right.
So, I just caution everyone to go and investigate it for yourself. That's the number one thing I told people when they came to my page, and a lot of people were like outraged about it. And my first question would be, have you seen it? And 9 times out of 10, what would they say?
They did not. They did not. I think there was one person who said that she was responding to her friend who watched it, who made a post about it, and she trusted her friend's opinion. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And her friend was I think I remember that, if that was the one on my page, and her friend was a little bit off. And so I was like, you have to decide for yourself all things, what you're comfortable with, what you like and don't like. You can't allow yourself to jump into the bandwagon and let other people in society decide for you. And as women, definitely, we can't allow other people to decide for us what we feel we should show about ourselves. So we'll get into that. I know.
That's perfect. That's actually a perfect transition, unless you had something to say about bandwagoning, Clarice.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. And I echo Coffee in that, we are in that time where people are just, one person who may be out with boots on the ground or whatever the issues are, and they may even misunderstand what the situation is, and their voices have weight. And so if they say something, everybody else is like jumping on that, and it just spreads. And we have to know how to think and read for ourselves. It's like you reading a review or watching a movie or watching commentators talk about a movie, and I love watching them talk about a movie, but I also go and watch it myself because I want to know. I want to know what to think. I want my own opinion about a subject and not what somebody else is saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. We actually got a question from Via Fate. She said, do you think a factor that is contributing to the backlash is the hypersexualization of Black girls?
Hey, Via Faye. Repeat that question again.
She said, do you think that a factor that is you know, I can just make it big. There we go, like this. Can everybody see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that a factor that is contributing to the backlash is the hypersexualization of Black girls?
I do. I mean, let's just be real. It's been done. It continues to happen. And anytime our young girls are on the screen, and this is like real life situation going on in the lives of young women. And and so we can't fake that it's not happening. A lot of us like to not see what's real. And we have to be able to see these stories to know what our young women are going through. It's happening all the time. And it's like we have been hypersexualized and also looked at and I can't think of the terminology when you're a certain age, like they're 11.
Right.
But we have been looked at as black and brown
women, adulterized or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that the word
for it? I'm gonna look it up while you're talking.
And I just talked about it, and I can't even think about it. I can't think of it. But adultification, that's it. And I think that's the term, adultification. I think that's it. But keep looking, kind of.
I will. I'm gonna type it in.
But I think that's what's been going on with us, and that's been going on since our ancestors got here, and the ones that have been here, with us coming off as looking or being older than we are. And we don't look older than we are, but the perception is, you're right, you're perceived as you're older because I want to subject you to some harm, and so I'm gonna fix my mind to make you be older than you are, so it won't look so bad. And I think that's a cycle. I really do.
Yeah, as a matter of the term that you're looking for is adultification bias.
Yeah.
And I'm going to copy and paste it and put it up on the clipboard right quick. But I think it's interesting that we talk about this, because the next thing that I was going to talk about before we start kind of breaking down the scene was representation, right? So the thing that really made me look at it again after watching the clips is that there's a young Black French woman who is doing her debut film, right? And this is the type of backlash she's getting when she's telling her own story.
Yeah.
Right. So anytime we write a film about us,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But when somebody else writes a film about us, all of a sudden it's okay to show us as this and that and all kinds of ways. But we do it, and they always people always find some way to But I'm gonna put it. Go ahead, please. Thank you.
Well, that was one of the issues I had with it, because I mean, I was a child of the 80s and 90s. I was born in the 70s, but I can remember so many films that I watched growing up that were children doing, in the context of figuring out their sexuality. And, what comes to mind is Porky's. There's a movie called 13. What other movies? There's a movie called Kids. I don't know if you remember Fast Times at Ridgemont High. But yes. I was seeing all kind of things on the screen, but it wasn't Black girls. It was usually, all those movies are European movies. And, I read a lot of books also. There's one of the books that I just absolutely fell in love with like 2 years ago was a book called Buck. And they were all, either they were high school or junior high. And I mean, it went down in the book several times. And it did make me kind of be like, whoa. But, I think we're kind of used to that, going back to her question in terms of sexualization or adultification of young Black girls. I think that the men catch it on the end of, on the criminal end. You're a man, you're an adult. When I look at you, I see a grown man. And women, the Black women, we catch it in terms of how we look. We're always policed about what we have on. And then you can watch somebody playing tennis and basically have on the same thing, or you can watch little girls playing volleyball and they have basically the same outfit on, but their bodies may look a little bit different. So I can just remember, and I know, we've all kind of, traveled around a lot, and I know that I think all of us have our roots here in Arkansas, which is a Bible Belt. And so I just remember being policed very hard about the way that I was presenting myself, and I was precisely just being a little girl.
Right.
And I can remember wearing the outfits that they had on. Like I have pictures of me as probably 9 or 10 years old with a little half shirt on, and it meant absolutely nothing. It was just, remember those little get-ups that where your belly was all big and you had on the little, And I just think that it's unfortunate that we have to contend with what other people, what their hangups may be. You know what I'm saying? And other races, they don't have to deal with it. They don't have to deal with, me playing volleyball and my shorts are too short, or me being a cheerleader and my shorts are too short, or me being in the pageants that JonBenet Ramsey was in and putting on this makeup and prancing around in a bathing suit. They don't have to worry about being blamed for the sexualization or the things that may go on in someone else's mind.
Right. American Pie, I think, was another one, and then there was another movie that was predominantly white characters that I'm getting some feedback. Hold on, let me see what's going on. That I think it showed the teenage life, of some middle-aged, white children growing up and their issues and all of the stuff that they go through. And if this is a story about the life of someone, why are we, what's the rage about? This is what happened with her. And, again, this is happening right now. And if we don't embrace this is happening, then, we'll continue to closing our eyes to young women who go through these things. I wrote notes on this, on this movie, because it was just so, I'm looking at her, I was looking at her religion, her being Muslim, growing up into a very strict
polygamous,
right? Polygamous household, right? Conservative,
and also the culture that she comes from.
Yes, and then coming from African culture, her trying to fit in where she was as an African, girl, and being looked at differently, but wanting to fit in. Actually looking at, and I was also writing stuff like a cultural standard of beauty, because that was something that I saw.
That too.
Her name, Angelica, was Latinx or Latina Latinx, and when she was doing her dancing and everything, she was within herself. She was feeling herself. She was her body. She was positive about who she was. She was ironing her hair and doing her thing. And Ami was looking at her, and she was just like, I wish I had that. Like, what is my standard of beauty? Cultural standards of beauty. And I don't think she was ever told or ever felt like she owned her own body and beauty.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you, Clarice, for moving us into the film, because it's time for us to start talking about it, right? Actually. And what I was going to say is, like, so the only thing that kind of really jarred me like this film did that I can remember is I remember like reading The Coldest Winter Ever. And like that threw me, right? And this threw me in a similar way, right? Because you have a young girl, right? And so when you're talking about her and Angelica, like the thing that stuck out to me is like frenemies is the word that comes to mind, right? Like, so at first, like they She sees them. She's kind of an outcast. She dresses kind of schlumpy, for lack of a better word. You can tell she's very focused on like her whatever she getting home, getting her brother taken care of, right? Which and like a kid, I love the representation of her and the brother's relationship, like him swimming in the tub. I thought that was hilarious, but how she became friends with them, and then how the dynamics of the relationship changed, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then how we even get to the short part where there's a short little bitty pornographic part where she takes a picture of her vagina, but that's based a lot on peer pressure because she doesn't know what the proper move to make is, right?
And acceptance.
Right. So I'm gonna jump. So let's jump to that part, right? Because that's the big part that everybody's throwing up, and they're not watching the movie anyway. So let's just go ahead and jump to the scene that is kind of pornographic, if you want to point to something pornographic. So I'll set it up a little bit. So there's a scene in Cuties where Ami, who is the main character, takes a picture of her vagina. Okay. But to set that up, Ami does not have any access whatsoever to a phone or technology or anything of that nature, right? She has TV things, but she don't have her own phone. She ends up, her cousin comes over the house to set up a room in her house for someone who's coming, who she hasn't been told, but it's her new, her dad's new wife is coming. So the cousin came in and set up the room, and Ami ends up stealing his phone because she's trying to get on social media and talk to people. So we see this whole scene of her taking her first social media post, right? And her first picture is something like, which is realistic, right? We don't want to take it. No, we get, you tilt your head and you make the picture and you take the picture. So you see that happen. Then over time, she's using like her phone. So it feels like about either 2 weeks to a month has passed and she's had this phone. And by this time, she's had a transformation where she's the hot girl. She's popular. She did something, so her curl is coming out. She has her little tank top now, right? Her fitted pants, and she's popular at school. And she has this tantrum, which I kind of feel like she saw Angelica act a certain way. She's like, okay, I'm you know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead and right, but she ends up getting beat up because she's not Angelica, right? And embarrassed, and she's dressed like a big girl because they're 11. I would say 14 to 16. Even though she's dressed like a 14 to 16-year-old, she still has on 11-year-old panties, right? And then on top of that, they're holy. So she had some little things on that are holy, and in the midst of the fight, her pants get pulled down, and they take a picture of her kitty panties. So now all over Instagram and Messenger and wherever these kids are, it has a picture of her. They're called the Cuties, her group, with these baby panties on. Everybody's making fun of them. So now she has to reestablish their credibility.
Right.
But before she can do that, her big cousin finds out that she has the phone. He's like, he snatches phone. What you doing with my phone? And she's trying to figure out what to do. So she thinks that she can seduce her cousin. I'll let y'all talk about that. But she tries to seduce her cousin.
Yeah.
Right. And so after she's embarrassed herself by trying to seduce her cousin, he steals the phone from her. No. He's about to take the phone from her. She locks herself in the bathroom. It's like trying to figure out what can she do to get her, like to show people that she's a woman, right? And in order to show them she's a woman or a big girl, she takes her vagina, right? Post it on Facebook, and then he breaks in the bathroom and takes his phone. So she can't even delete it or fix it or change it or come back because now she no longer has access to technology, to a cell phone, these apps that she was on. So can we break that scene down a little bit, please?
That's a lot. Woo!
Well,
man.
You want to go ahead? Go ahead.
No, I'm processing it because I'm seeing the scene in my mind, and it's really good that you went back to the fact that she was establishing her position and within the Cuties. Even so much so that she kind of surpassed Angelica for a minute. And so I think all of this predicated on her making sure that she is the most popular or being seen. And through the whole movie, it was about her feeling invisible, because at one point in the scene, her mother looks at the marriage bed in the room, and Ami is standing right in the doorway, and her mother walks straight past her and does not even pivot to look to say, "Oh, baby, you're up," or anything. She's so devastated. And that's what I want to talk about, because mama is root of the issue at this point with Omi's, like, her issues at this point with her self-love. Mama doesn't recognize her. And so she's feeling, I'm thinking through the movie, this invisible thing is happening, because now I had to be seen. So her marching over there, and the fact that her pants are pulled, and then what's really underneath is she's still 11. You know, she's still right, living in what she, she's still is not a wealthy child, and she has to do what she has to do. But it comes to the light, and you're right, China, that so you saw my holy panties, but let me prove to you that I'm more than this. Like, I'm a woman, or I have to reestablish myself. So in this panic, she does this without even thinking that. And if you loop it back in, when you're thinking about it, she was in mosque looking at videos of older girls popping it and shaking it, and so she's thinking that's what's going to get me where I need to be. Like, I have to do this, and this sexualization is where I'm going to get the most attention. And I think it's so rooted in so many things. Her father and her mother that's the root of the issue to me.
I was looking at the scene. My perception of it was that she's just a young girl trying to find herself, trying to figure out, how do I define myself within these two extremes? I got the extreme of the women that are covered, and and as you were talking about, being invisible. Even the bride that came in, we never even saw her face. She was covered up like a ghost.
Yeah.
And so it's like, do I have to define myself by the old ways, or do I have to go to the other extreme, and define myself now by this new way?
Yeah.
And I think it boils down to, are people comfortable? Do people want to just view what's comfortable, or do they want to view what's reality? What young women are actually going through, even if it's not pretty. And I sometimes I get, when I look at social media and I see people's responses, I'm like, surely I haven't lived a life in a bubble. Everybody that I talk to has had similar experiences. Not to say all those experiences, but I mean, in our day, we didn't have social media. But for anybody that works with young people, we know what goes on in social media. And there's been several times where I've had to tell children to not show those things on, they may send it to another boy or another girl. And you have to say, hey, because that is child pornography. I mean, you may be a child and that's a child, but you're sending it back and forth. And those images are pornographic images of children.
Right.
And so I just think that was a shout out to what's going on. And maybe she did use the extreme in terms of her putting it all on social media and just blasting it out to show that this was a girl her situation was more extreme than what a lot of us have dealt with. And the situation with her mom and the family, and she's trying to bend herself into this box, and then I don't fit in there. And then I'm bending myself into this box, but I don't all the way fit in there. And then sometimes, when a person is trying to find themselves and they find a group of people they want to emulate, they oftentimes are worse than the group they're trying to emulate, because they're the ones trying to do it. So if you have a guy that's trying to join this group of guys, that's going to be, he's going to be the one that's going to, be the first one running out the car, because he wants to show this group. And a lot of times that group is kind of repulsed by it. Like, hold on now, we ain't doing all that. And that's I just felt like those depictions were really true to life. And I just was confused as to why people are so uncomfortable with seeing what the reality is.
Very, very true to life. and compounded with her life, with her issues, and her taking on responsibilities that she felt like she had to take on. Her brother, you know, what was even her mother's like, what did she think of herself? Like, her mother's self-esteem was shot because of the new wife that came into the picture. And if you remember, Alma was under the bed when her mom came in, and they were talking about the new wife coming. She wasn't excited about that. It was almost like she was forced into this situation, knowing the culture, but also thinking about, even if you know the culture, think about, as a woman bearing 2 children, being married to you for however long, and then all of a sudden the thought is, I'm not good enough.
Yep.
I hadn't done enough. I'm not strong enough, or whatever those things that come into our minds that come in, that you had to go get somebody else and bring them in, even though I understand the culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I thought that was very important, because a lot of times when we think about those particular cultural practices and compared to our own, a lot of times we feel like that is, how do you say it? Like almost like a utopia. Like everyone is just getting along and it's so beautiful and it's without any kind of issues. And I thought it was very brave for her to show that, yes, this is a part of our culture, but it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it can be uncomfortable. It's not all the time we're all happy-go-lucky.
Right.
Sometimes it's messy. And I think we parallel that. It's not so foreign to us. We didn't grow up in that particular culture. And I know, I didn't grow up Muslim, but it parallels so much to what I did grow up as. There's not that much difference between the roles that we're expected to play, even in Christianity. So, and then the discontent that she would be Generation Z, right? Am I correct? Yeah. Whatever the generation is that she represents, they would be trying to find themselves and trying to break out of the confines that are put around them from the elder generations. And so you had the mother, and then you also had the overbearing aunt, I believe it was.
Yes.
And she's battling against that. And her mother, like, it reminded me of a scene in Love and Basketball. If you remember when Sanaa Lathan was looking at her mom, like her mom was weak because her mom bent over backwards for her husband all these years. And I just don't want to be that woman. You know what I'm saying? But her mother was describing to her that my strength looks different from your strength.
Yeah.
So, and I just thought that she did that beautifully in this film.
Yes, she
did.
The
mother allowed her in the end to find your way. And that was very brave, because you're also going against what your culture, and we know how hard it is to go against cultural norms. So you're going against this. Your child is being looked at a certain way. And now you're embracing your child, that you're going to be free to find out who you are.
Yeah.
And that's what I got out of that scene.
For sure.
We have one person in the wait room, so I'm gonna go on and add them to the stream. Greetings. Hello. Feel free to unmute your phone because we can't hear you. You're on mute. You're still on mute.
Okay.
Hi. Okay. Awesome. I'm going to introduce her quickly, and then I'm going to jump back into the conversation. So who you have in the bottom corner is my mom, also known as Technolia Beatrice Gay. I asked her this. So she's an educator, poet, artist, all of the above. And I'll give her a chance to introduce herself a little bit later, but we're right in the middle, so we're going to keep the conversation. Okay. So I really wanted to kind of piggyback off of what you guys were saying with the parenting, because it was actually one of my favorite scenes, right? So first, the auntie saves her from the mom, right? When the mom finds out that, that her picture went viral, and the mom catches her at school with the crop top. Because remember, I said in the beginning, she was going to school dumpy, right? So she's not just going to school with these booty shorts and whatever it is she got on. She's hiding. She's leaving the house in her regular clothes. Once she gets there, she changes to another outfit, right? And then that's when she becomes the hot girl, for lack of a better word. So her mom finds all this out, right? And this is happening when the dad just got a new wife. So the mom is, and the dad's on his way home with the new wife. The mom is like, "Are you insane?
Yeah.
I got to bring a new woman into the house, but now your dad's gonna ask me why you acting like a hoe." You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
she goes all the way off on the baby. Go ahead, Toffee. What you say?
And you making me look bad.
Right. So she goes all the way off on her, and the auntie has to kind of like hold her back, like, "Oh, okay, that's enough," right? So I looked, because it kind of made me a little mad at the mom, right? Because she's neglecting her and all of that. But at the end, like you said, when she kind of runs away when it's time for the wedding, and then but she comes back. And I really feel like she came back to support her mom, right? I'm not gonna let you go through this by yourself, mama. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
she comes back and she says, "Mama, please don't go," right? And when she does that, the auntie, she thinks it's her turn now. She thinks it's her turn to berate the baby. And mom's like,
Yeah.
and what that reminds me of is my relationship with my mom, my relationship with my daughter, my relationship with people that I love. I can do it. But you no. Right? Mine is mine. My baby. Back up, right? Because we've built something. We have a history, we have a relationship.
Yeah.
But so I loved how she backed the auntie up off her baby, right? I also think that at the end she kind of comes to this realization of, dang, I haven't been paying my baby any attention, you know? Because there's a scene at the very beginning where Ami is like drawing on this cardboard and making all these pictures and cutting them out. It's like it's very clear that she's taking a lot of time to create this design. And then she goes and puts her mom's bed and then puts this heart design on it. But like when the mom comes to bed, like you can see that she's exhausted, right? You can see it in her body. Like she is physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally drained. Everything is gone. You know? Ami's thinking her mom's gonna be like, "Oh, this is so beautiful," which is probably her mom's usual response, right? Anytime that she does something for her, she was expecting it. She wouldn't expect it if it wasn't normal. But so she did this big thing. She gets mad at her baby brother for almost messing it up, right? I don't know if you guys remember that. And then her mom just comes in and just throws the covers off the bed. You know what I'm saying? Messing up the whole thing. Ami is really, really disappointed. And then we kind of go through this whole movie where the mom is not really paying Ami any attention. You know what I'm saying? But I kind of like that about the perspective of the movie, because we really are focused on Ami. You know what I'm saying? The new mom's not important. The new wife's not important. The dad's not important, because we never even meet him. He calls on the phone maybe once or twice. We don't hear his voice, right? The mom is only important really in the perspective of Ami. You know what I'm saying? Like we always see the mom from her point of view, but we never really hear what the mom is dealing with, except for that one time when Ami's hiding under the bed, right? And she hears her mom cry from the news of having a wife, because every time she's in front of Ami, she plays strong. Every time she's in front of auntie or a cousin or a sibling or someone who's asking her about the new wife, she's like, "Oh, I wish them love and happiness, and I hope they have a wonderful marriage," you know? But then when she has time to herself, she's very hurt. And Clary, she had 3 babies. Yeah. She had 3 babies. It was a little bitty one in the basket.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'd like to interject, please. One point that an aspect of the movie that I saw was the mother's pain.
Yeah.
That mother was in pain.
Yes.
And Ami felt her mother's pain. And I personally feel that everything she went through was in response to the mother's pain as well.
I agree.
Realistically, I remember as a child reading my mother's journal and crying every morning after my mother had, put an entry in her journal, but she would leave it open, and I would wake up in the morning and I would read my mother's journal, and I would just sob, and I would hurt for my mother.
Wow.
So, I know I came in kind of late, but just a couple of points that I saw. I found me to be very curious. I saw where she was bullied, and even though she was bullied, she still wanted to be included, and so she did. She went kind of overboard to try to get accepted into that group of young ladies. She was ignored. She was ignored at home, and now she's being ignored at school, and like I said, bullied. And so she was going to do whatever she needed to do to fit in. She was a little defiant. She was also strong-willed, and I felt like she was looking for love. That she, and the mother didn't have love to give right now because mom was hurting. So those are just a couple of things.
Yeah. Definitely. I was just gonna say, those are all cycles of hurt and like trauma. Yeah, those are cycles of trauma that you go through with the, with the wanting to be accepted, the accepting somebody bullying you, but you're still trying so you can be accepted. She even was stealing at one point. They showed that point where there was something going on there. That's all included in the trauma. And when the young girls were together, there was some weight shaming happening, with their group, where the thicker young girl was being shamed, and even Ami was being shamed for having a flat booty, things like that. So they were showing that trauma that was causing that. And I'm with you, and I know we have children. We all have children, but for sure, Mama was like heavy on me. Like, even though Ami was the star, you could, when Mama fainted when she fainted, and you saw that dynamic of the son helping her, and Ami was like,
I was like, what was that about?
You gonna be all right? And she kept eating, like, she didn't even say nothing, but her face was like, oh, okay, kind of like, well, that's your issue. It's the face that Ami gave her. Like, I can't take on what you're dealing with, in a way that she had kind of removed herself from her mama, and she had become this young, not mama's girl, but just she's kind of surpassed her in a way that she was like, if you want to, like, what you're dealing with, I don't have no connection to, type thing. So there was this disconnect between her and her mom that I saw, and it was really sad because their relationship was always close.
Yeah, it was.
But this trauma that Ami was going through, it was a cycle. You could see the cycle happening, and then of course towards the end she came back around.
Yeah,
of course, but she had to go through it.
Yeah, it was a shift. It was like everything was like, I'm trying to be a support for my mother. Then all of a sudden, it's like, you keep pushing me away.
Yeah.
Now I'm going into and that's what happens. We're pushing our children away, and then they get caught up in something else.
Right.
Give them too much room. And I think in terms of, one of my sister-in-laws, she got caught up in a relationship, and, she was new man in her life, yada. And so the daughter was like, I'm going to the movies. Wasn't really going to the movies. You don't know where the baby going to. And before you know it, you got to stick your foot in a crack house to save your child,
Yeah.
Mom had totally lost interest in what was happening with her baby. And so that's when Omni rather, kind of went another way.
And that was kind of I'm sorry, let me cut you off, but that was kind of the case with all the kids, right? Because Angelica talked about, like, both of her parents working all the time. And even though those are kind of the only two whose house we get in, and to kind of hear what happens to the parents, it's clear that, like, the parents are absent because of something else. But in Ami's case, we know the mom is like dealing with stuff mentally. In Angelica's case, we know that the parents are out working, trying to provide for, what I'm saying? She's talked about them working at the restaurant all the time. Like, they're always at the restaurant. She doesn't have time for me, you know what I'm saying? Which is why. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, to me, that is similar to, being a latchkey kid here in America, where, a working class situation. A lot of times the girls have the household duties. Ami was cooking. She was watching the baby. I mean, she was a whole mom at 11 years old.
Yes.
And it just reminded me of me and my peers growing up, latchkey kids. either you're in a divorced, home, or a family that's separated, or both parents are working. You can't afford to have a parent staying home and being diligent all the time. And then a lot of times parents are stressed out, particularly the moms, and especially if she's dealing with things that that she's not comfortable with and dealing with her own trauma. So it just, again, to me, paralleled what we see happening here all the time, particularly in disenfranchised families.
There were
and a lot of times we do carry that weight.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, we do. No,
Okay. I'm gonna let you talk in a second, Mom. But there are 3 things that I do want to make sure we get to before we get off of here. And I just want to go ahead and put them out there because we can probably talk about them at the same time because the ideas overlap. But there was a condom scene that was I was big for me. I was like, okay, I didn't, but this is my first. Oh, like, baby, you don't know what that is, right? And then there was the seance scene. I really wanted to talk about.
That was huge.
And I knew Clarice. I'm glad Clarice here. So we're gonna talk about that seance scene, and I want to make sure that we talk about the ending. I really love the ending because I don't really feel like anything was resolved, right? Except for her relationship with her mom, and I think that's realistic. I hate when they tie everything up in a bow at the end of like we don't know what happened with her friends because she, right? Because she kind of just let them hang, and we don't even know if they're her friends anymore, right? The mom, the new wife is still husband. The new wife is still coming. The dad is still coming, who we haven't met. Auntie's still mad. You know what I'm saying? The only one really excited about the wedding is baby brother. So the ending, it's still kind of all up in the air. So, but I kind of like that is nothing is tied up. But I definitely want to talk about this condom scene, and I definitely want to talk about seance. Which one we want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the condom.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Which one?
Go ahead.
Which scene? I just wanted to touch on, because I really can't touch on the seance scene because I want to hear what y'all have to say about that one because I was kind of thrown a little bit by that one.
Okay, let's start. So I'm just gonna set it up and then I'm gonna let you guys talk. I'm just gonna set it up so people know what happened in case they didn't see the movie. So in the condom scene, it's the cuties, it's the 4 girls, okay, and in the cuties, there are 2 black girls. There's a Latina and then there's a white girl. Okay. Amy is one of the black girls. There's another little black girl. I cannot remember her name. Do one of you guys remember her name? I can't remember it.
I don't remember it being, if they said it, I didn't catch it.
I feel like they didn't say her name, right? But there's another little black girl in there. And the black girl who's in the film, they're out at the park, they're practicing for the dance competition or something. And she finds what she thinks is a balloon.
Right.
But it's a used condom. So she picks up the used condom. It's pink, right? Which is why she didn't think it was a condom, because in her mind, condoms are white. They don't come in colors. Balloons come in colors. Right. So she blows up the condom and she's like, oh, you guys. Oh, no, she puts it in her shirt. She puts it in her shirt, right? Yeah. I don't know if it was to make it look like she had boobs or I don't remember what happened. She puts it in her shirt and then she was like trying to play. And everybody in the group knew what it was except for her. Yeah. Everyone in the group. And they spend that much time, which in my mind tells me you're not having certain conversations, right, amongst your friends, right? But we posting pictures of our time. Anyway, I'll talk about that.
Well, they can't have that conversation because they're 11. They don't know. So that pointed to me to the innocence. It was like, even though it's something that is highly sexual, they are very, very innocent. They don't understand. It's almost like AIDS came out. And you were like, oh, you're going to get the nasty person's disease. You run around screaming if somebody touches you. It's like you're confronted with sexuality before you even know what it is. Right. So I just felt like, it was just a really innocent scene.
I think the other thing that really kind of connects, that she didn't even know what being on a cycle was.
Right, exactly.
I mean, they hadn't even had conversations with this baby about, what makes it like, oh, you're a woman now.
Yeah,
that you're gonna say. But what I also like about the whole show is it was very tastefully done. I mean, the kids were dancing erotic, but they didn't really show anything, unless I missed something. Did I miss something?
I mean, some people may feel like they did. I didn't. I mean, I felt okay with it. I felt like the angles were.
One set of dancers, she showed her boob. Okay, the movements were but I didn't see them show the people who, the producers or whatever. I definitely think for them to be 11, I know that it wasn't appropriate, but I didn't see anything. Tell me, what did I miss if there was something that was actually shown?
But that was the point of the film. I definitely think, like, for sure, like, so when Amy, we didn't talk about that either. The fact that there was a girls' dance group, but Amy's the one who made them sexual, right? Like that. They were doing like little, but they weren't, you know what I'm saying? They weren't doing all of that. Amy brought that to their attention.
I saw that.
So I think for me, a lot of the things that made me the most uncomfortable didn't have anything to do with their clothes. Because actually, I was talking to a friend earlier, and we were talking about a person that's an adult woman, right? And we were just saying how it's not what you wear, it's the energy behind what you're wearing, right? So you could look sexy or you could look like a hoe. You know what I'm saying? So, or you could look like your girls with a cheerleading little uniform on, right? Or you could look like y'all trying to go and do something. And because they're putting their hand in their mouth and they're making certain they're touching their bodies. I mean, she at one point she put her hands between her legs and pat her vagina. Yeah, I mean, that's what makes it sexual. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because I mean, we wear cheerleading uniforms, right? Our cheerleading uniforms are usually a crop top and some booty shorts. Earlier, before you came on, we talked about volleyball uniforms, right? Those are super short shorts, right? And generally a very fitted shirt. So it's not the outfit, right? It's the movement. And then we talked about Clarice brought up the term. Where did it go? Adultification bias at that, right? So not just adultification, but then the bias that's given towards Black young girls in our body types. You know what I'm saying? Not because we're doing anything differently or wearing anything differently, and not just young Black girls, young Black women in general. I don't know if you guys remember that whole uproar before COVID-19 about this teacher who wore a fitted, just regular jersey dress to her kindergarten class. It was just.
I don't remember that. But I feel you.
It was just a jersey dress, but they were irate that she wore this jersey dress to her kindergarten. Why would you wear that in front of? But then they showed right next to her a white woman in the same dress, and nobody responded.
I mean,
she had Coke bottles. You know,
she wasn't there.
It wasn't. Right, but it was the same dress. It was the same dress. That's the point, okay? And you can't blame somebody for that. But that's my point, right? So I'm sorry, I got off track a little bit. So we had talked about the condom. I want to talk about the seance scene. And the reason why I want to talk about the seance scene is because I've seen a lot of negative backlash on the seance scene, and it's really pissing me off because I feel like people just don't understand, right? So what I was trying to figure out is I couldn't figure out from the scene. So it felt like to me. So right before the scene, it shows her learning how to gyrate, learning how to move her body so that she can, you know what I'm saying, move like the women in the video. It shows her literally teaching the girls how to move their pelvic back and forward to have the right movement, if that makes sense, right? And she goes into when her mom finds out everything, they get really mad at her. You know, she gets exposed because dad's coming home and there's a new wife, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna pray this up off of you," basically, right? So they take her to the place of prayer. I don't want to call it a mosque because it wasn't really clear what it was saying, but they bring her to this house of this place of worship, and they throw holy water on her. And for me, it's unclear if in the beginning she's just doing the movements, right? It feels like me in the beginning she's just doing the movements. Then over time, right, she kind of becomes engulfed in the movements, right? Mm-hmm. And then at one point she goes all the way to the floor, and she's definitely mimicking the movements from what she was trying to train the girls to do. But what I also know from my personal knowledge and my personal information is that many of these movements that have been sexualized are traditional movements, right? Movements that weren't supposed to be sexualized, that we have been doing forever, right? Mm-hmm. These are facts. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, Ami, are you making a connection between the traditional movements?
Yes.
And you know what I'm saying? And these new movements, are you saying that she's mocking them? What you doing, Ami? I'm trying to understand what's going on. Okay, let me know what's going on.
That's what I got. I got that 100%. Is that the connection between the African traditional movements and what has been brought over and now sexualized movement. Twerking is not. It's not traditionally in other cultures. It's not a sexualized movement. It is for
fertility,
things like fertility, and it's for uteral health. It's for all of those things. In certain parts of Africa, it's not sexualized in the way that we do it over here in America. And so I got that connection to China, that she was doing those movements, but I feel like that she connected somewhere with her roots of the movement. And then once she connected, she just came out of it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
She just kind of dropped after she was on her knees, and it was like she came out of it, and there was this ancestral or cultural connection to what she was doing. That's what I saw. And I think if you don't know that information, you tend to think about twerking the American way, and you start to think about the sexualization of it, and then you start saying, "What the heck is she doing? Why is she twerking?" And they throwing holy water on her. If she got a demon. And the spiritualist who came over told Mama
that she doesn't
know this. You have a choice whether you want to get out of this marriage, but know this: that child doesn't have an evil spirit. There is nothing evil in this child. That's when Mama's mindset started changing for me.
I say,
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting you said that, Clarice, because I'm glad that you said what you said at the beginning about Angelica, because I was a little offended, you know what I'm saying, at the beginning, because I love dance. I love Latin dance.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was like, so are you saying that Latin dance is like only sexual? Like with the, you know what I'm saying? I didn't catch it the way you caught it. And so once you said that, I was like, oh, okay. Because she was very confident, you know what I'm saying? In that, but I kind of see it the same way, like you say, people take twerking as a certain way. I think people a lot of times see Latin dance as a certain way, right? So when I saw her moving like that and stuff like that, I was like, she's kind of sexualizing her, but that's not right, because culturally, right, that's not really what it's about. It's about moving to the beat and rhythm and syncopation, and sometimes it is about courting or engaging the person in front of you to entice a full body of people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is, because Latin people when they're dancing, they're very comfortable in their bodies. Angelica was comfortable in her body. She was doing all the movements. Everything is just so succinct. Same thing in Africa. And so because she accepted her culture and she was comfortable in her body, she was able to move like that. Whereas Ami was not. And she was from a traditional background where that was not something that she actually did. But when in that seance, she connected to it. That's what I saw. She connected to it. And then she was okay after she connected to it. But she was still kind of crazy. But she still was acting erratic. But she connected to it. Yeah.
The word intent came to my mind while y'all were talking, because I had totally kind of push that scene out of my mind until y'all brought it back up. But intent, so your reason for doing these things, and when you said that she was comfortable in her body, then you got those people out there that are not comfortable, that are trying to do and get, it's almost like, for me, I connected to this piece that I did with Curtis Tate called The Gathering. Everybody can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And so even when I do that again, if you are not in the right mindset, so other people try to go out and do what Curtis did, but Curtis had did his research and he was really connected to a particular thing. The gathering of, dressing up and bringing back those stories. And so stories, this is dance, and so for me, your intent, your purpose, if you have the wrong intent, you don't have the right purpose, then it's not going to be looked at in the right way, and everybody's not going to receive it anyway.
That's right.
And even the intent of the people that are receiving it. the intent of what's on their mind, because how can I be responsible for what you see?
Right.
When if you have that in your mind, speaking on adults that are looking at the little girls and seeing something totally different from what we would see.
Right.
I mean, there have been times I scroll down social media and see a little girl in a bathing suit, and I get kind of squeamish a little bit, like a child, because I know that other people will see something totally different just from experiences. So at what point can we disconnect from having to always worry about the way that you are going to perceive me? And as women, we do that a lot. I remember I was working out in my house and I was going to jump rope outside, and I had a half shirt on in my house, but I had to think about, well, I don't want to go outside. And then not that I care about how people perceive me as an adult woman, but I got to now worry about danger.
Right.
Are you going to try to clean my house? You know what I'm saying? So I just think we contend with a lot as women. Girls, they're thrown into this world before they even understand what their sexuality encompasses. They don't know how to protect this gold that they have,
Okay.
And just to point out to the end that you were talking about, you were talking about how she went outside, and for me there was closure, because I felt like, if you remember, there was the dress that they wanted her to wear, the traditional dress. That was all ruffly and long and covered her all up. And then on the bed right next to that was her little skimpy outfit that was, she had put together to go and dance with the girls. And if you recall, she decided against both of those.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just really cinematically to show. She walked outside, she had her on, she had her little shirt on, and she went outside and she just jumped rope like a little girl.
Yeah.
And so
her hair was free.
It was just everything about
it up. Yeah.
This is what society has for me. They have this image or they have this image. And guess what? I don't have to do either of those.
She created her own image. Yeah.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Oh, look at you, Coffee. You brought me to my last point. Thank you. I'm so excited because we're at an hour and 11 minutes. And I usually try to keep it at an hour, but this was important. This is an important conversation to have. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really glad that we can have it together. But this is what I would like for you all to do for me before we say, and feel free to say your last remarks and stuff as you do this as well. But like my big thing with Educem is taking control of the narrative, right? Taking back control of the way we see ourselves, right? And it was big for me for us to have this conversation on Cuties, because when we control the narrative and when we put out there what we want you to see about us, a lot of times they still come back, right? And put up the obstacles so we can't tell our own story, right? So my thing is, I want everyone to tell me one thing, it could be more than one, right? But one thing that you walked away from the film with and why you think is important for people to watch the film.
Just one thing.
It can be more than one. That's why I said it can be more than one, because I know that we can't do that, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like one idea, one concept, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then go ahead.
For me, I would definitely say that, and I'll come from a parent's perspective. As a parent, it's so important that we reconnect. I think mama's reconnecting with her. I'm in this. This is my culture. This is what happened, and then I'm gonna have to own it, and I'm gonna have to be brave for my children, and I'm just gonna have to do this and regain my confidence for my children. Her doing that changed Ami's position. Like, and I think when Ami was dancing, I have to reference this scene when she was dancing and all of a sudden she just stopped. She started crying and she ran off. I remember hearing this almost kind of like this prayer that was going on in the background, that it was sort of almost like it was pulling Ami back to the house. And I feel like it was mama. I feel like mama, as parents, we have this soul tie to our children, and when we feel like they're being lost or they're not they're in danger, that we really, and her mama was in a place where she was like, she had to connect to spirit to try to get this child back. And not only that, but to even face the wife, because the wedding was going on that day. And she was putting on all her African garb to go down and be a part of a ceremony that she didn't want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want to be a part of it. It was her culture, but it was not what she wanted. So I think for me, and having been a single mother with a daughter before, knowing that they watch everything that you do and that they are looking for you to be this this light for them, that you can't always be that, but for the most part, come back and make sure you're checking in and make sure you are, that we can get so exhausted and so tired that we don't check in, and then we let them, like I know you were saying, we push them away so much because we're so caught up in what we have going on that at some point they just decide, okay, I'm gonna do my own thing and I'm gonna do me because I've been doing your job for so long with the children and all of that. So I think as parents, fighting through depression, because depression was part of mama's issues too. Mm-hmm. It may have been a short stint, but she had it. Mm-hmm. Fighting through those things and just really refocusing our energy on our children and making sure that they're okay. When we're not okay, they're not okay. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's what I got from that, is that, mama had to bring herself back around, because that child could have gotten, and now in this day and age, you got, people taking children, sex trafficking and things like that. I think we lost coffee.
Yeah, I see. Mm-hmm.
And so for me, paying attention to the child and also not being for the audience and people who are like doing these reviews that are really crazy, really watch the movie and also be intentional about knowing how other cultures operate and what's going on in another culture. Like, if you don't understand the culture, you really don't have a right to judge people's issues, intents, and things like that, the way they move, the way they talk. If you don't know it, you just sit back saying, oh, this is just this and that, but you don't even know what the culture is. So how would you make a judgment about it? Watch it all the way through, and then try to gain an understanding. If you don't know how the culture is, try to do your own research to find out what's culturally appropriate.
Awesome. Okay, before you get off, I have one more question from Via Faith that I think is good for you, Clarice. Okay. It said, what is the significance of the dress bleeding? Do you remember when the dress was bleeding?
That was powerful. And I didn't think we had enough time to even talk about that. It actually tied in. I'm sorry, I'm trying to charge my phone back up. I mean, my computer back up.
Yeah, don't be like me.
I saw that Via Faith and I didn't think we had enough time to talk about it, but she was having these little premonitions throughout the movie that you could catch, and she would see certain little things, and then something would kind of be similarly what happened. I thought with that dress, she had her cycle afterwards, right? Mm-hmm. So her cycle came of her womanhood, and that dress was almost like the beginning of the end for Ami. Mm-hmm. And in a way that it was the beginning of something that she didn't want to be a part of, which was the intermarriage of her father and this new wife that represented better than her mother. And so the dress was all haunting and scary, and every time she looked at it like it had 8 eyes, and she was just like, I don't want nothing to do with this dress. So that blood to me was almost like a death of some kind. Mm-hmm. And then she became a woman the next day with her cycle. So I still got to process that too, because it's like on my brain, because I was looking at it like, wow,
Right. Yeah, it was
Oh,
hard for me. That's why I gave it to you. I was like, I'm gonna let Carice get that one because I
yeah.
don't know because it bothered me too. But hearing you say that, but it also when her responding to the dress like that, I think it was a life she didn't want,
Yeah.
right? Because I remember the aunties telling her, at your age, before we saw the woman in the white dress, she said, at your age, I got prepared for my husband. We're all white, and then when he lifted the veil, that was the first time
Right.
anyone saw my face, right? So when she saw that woman there and all the white with the veil over her face, and she looked young, right?
Well,
And so
I did want to point that out. That
Yeah.
in that culture also there are, once you in certain cultures, I'll say that once you become a woman, once you have your cycle, you are marriageable. And
yeah,
I looked up the age for marriage and the singlese age for marriage, and it was like 16, and I think that just happened in 2010. And
right.
16 for young girls, but 18.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right, actually,
But
she got engaged. She got engaged at 11, and then that she got married after her cycle. That's right, Coffee.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
right. Well, wait, what are you talking about?
I was just
You're talking
saying,
about
I was remembering the auntie, the story that she told Ami, and she told me that she got engaged at Ami's age, but she didn't get married till after she had her cycle. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, yes, and I was referencing what typically happens in those situations is that yes, they have their cycle, they're already engaged, and then they have their cycle, which a lot of times it's 11 or somewhere around there, and then they are marriageable.
Right.
So, and also it's a culture that also in some rural areas still practices female mutilate.
Yeah.
Female mutilization.
They can't.
You know what I'm saying?
It's out now, but yeah.
FBM. So there's a lot of there's a lot of layers to her not wanting to embrace that way. And I do think that what you're saying about the dress representing that, it represented, I have to put this on and conform to what these expectations are.
Yeah.
And I'm just not comfortable with it. I don't want to do it.
But I also think, Coffee, when her mother told her, when her mother said, you don't have to come, that was her releasing her and saying that you don't have to conform. And that was another, for me, for her not putting that dress on and for her choosing to go down. And I think she also realized that I'm not, those girls weren't really my friends, and I don't have to be a part of that. It just seemed like
exactly.
when she broke, she was just happy with being who she was and not trying to be a part of somebody else's, group. So I thought that was beautiful too. Another word that came to mind was village. There was a village, and even though the auntie, came off a little, in your face at the end, the auntie was a very important part of that village on the front end. You also talked about checking back in, Clarice, and for me, being available.
Yeah.
Even though you're going through, you still have to be available. And Ami needed her, and she was just not available. But that's when the auntie stepped in, and so they switched roles. Auntie was supportive, and then when auntie happened to get a mama stepped in and said, "Hold up," And so I think that's that village mentality, and I think that's so important and so necessary. And I really appreciate too, Coffee, all of the connections that you were showing and what we go through as a Black community and how it's so closely related. But the last thing that I want to talk about is just what the drill team is doing in high school, just a couple more years away. You know what I'm saying? So you so upset about watching this. I'm appalled at what I see drill teams doing. When I was at Pine Bluff, I saw the college students doing the hip hop project. Okay, and so I brought.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And so they brought it to Central. I said, okay, tone it down a little bit. Tone it down a little bit.
That was something else.
but the kids loved it. I go to Pine Bluff High School, and if I tell you that little girl's butt was this far from the vice principal's face, you know what I'm saying? All those same moves,
Yeah.
they've been doing them for years, and that's what these kids are looking at. That's what they're watching. I know in this particular show, they don't have to watch porn to see it. It's out there on the field.
Oh.
And so for me, there were a lot of things. Just the realization that as a parent, if you stay connected with your child, you make sure you know what's going on, because it was obvious that those babies had a lot of space.
For sure.
Yeah.
Too much free
They
time.
had a lot of
right.
space, and there was no adult that was really engaged. I know when China moved, I moved. Wherever she was involved in and engaged in, I right there, you know, as much as I could possibly be. And I think this really is more so a show for parents.
So what is the one reason you think that people should watch the film?
I think it's a message to parents who sometimes give their children too much space.
Oh, I say. Okay, coffee. I don't know if you remember, but I asked what was one thing. Oh, what's one takeaway, like one big takeaway that you took from the film, and then a reason why people need to watch the film.
Well, one of the takeaways that I took was that it was, in my opinion, it dealt with generational trauma and breaking the chains of that. And I felt like her mom, when she released her and, you know, and embraced her as somebody that's different, I think that it was also freeing herself, because she wasn't all the way comfortable with what she was having to do. And I think that by allowing her daughter to choose, she was saying that you can create your own life, you can become your own person. And that's in a sense freeing me, and it's freeing, you know, the rest of my lineage. So now, you know, you be what either I didn't have the strength to do, or times were different, you know, and now you have the space to do what I've always wanted to do. And I also, what I would encourage people to watch it, because I think one of the misunderstandings that people had is that they viewed it as if it were glorified, or it's not an aspirational film in terms of like, this is what we're saying is good and cool. I mean, even when the girls were dancing, you could see the looks on people. There was disapproval,
Right.
you know, and a lot of times, you know, as Ms. Gay pointed out, when you're, you know, when you see little girls doing those things, there is disapproval. You know, it's real to life. You know, I've been to, you know, dances where, you know, little kids, you know, the red nose, whatever that song was, shake it like a red nose, whatever comes on. It went ham in the building. And, you know, all the teachers had to run around and like, hold on, move, stop, you know.
Yeah.
It's what happens, and you have to create, you know, those boundaries for young girls. They just don't know. So I just think that if you walk it through the lens of understanding, it's not a film glorifying what these girls are doing. It's actually a film showing the pitfalls that you can go down. And I think when that narrative changes, more people will watch it and embrace it. And it's unfortunate because it is, you know, we all know the director is, you know, Senegalese woman.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, it's disheartening that some of our projects will get shut down immediately before people can even, you know, tell the story and just like discern, you know, use discernment and watch it, you know, on your own. A lot of times our narratives are shut down when they don't come for us. I mean, I've seen things like this, the way that the girls are dressed. I've seen that in other films, but like, you know, like China pointed out, it wasn't told by us, so I guess it was okay. Right. So, you know, this ain't the first time we've seen young girls dressed like that in film. So I don't know. I would just encourage everyone to go watch it and view it through the lens of with understanding, as opposed to, you know, taking it as a film that is glorifying.
China, can I say, absolutely, coffee? Can I just say this one thing, just for clarity? I don't want anybody thinking that I am at any point trying to say that we're, you know, you're a bad parent because your attentions or your situation that you're in makes you turn away or not pay attention to your child, because we all have situations where it's so heavy that mama was literally in autopilot for a better part of that show. And so we've been on autopilot before in our lives, to where we get up, we take care of our children, we do all these things without really being there because we're dealing with whatever, like I said, whether it's depression or whatever. And so people being empathetic to that fact, that her story was an issue that was very took her into a tailspin of depression, and that there are times where we all, or at some point, people get there, and as parents, we do. It does not make you a bad parent if you're there. What she did though was that before it was too late, and sometimes it is too late, but you're still not a bad parent. But before it was too late, she was able to get Ami and let her know, I have taken control of my life, though I don't like this situation. And also what you said, Coffee and Agnolia, that not only have I taken control of my life, but I grant you have permission, you have the right to do what it is you want to do that makes you happy. And Ami did that. And I love the rise of her toward the end of the movie, and she kept going higher and higher and higher. It was just so, that visual, that video, the videography of that was really beautiful, because it just showed her rising up out of that, that situation.
Awesome. Yeah. I had one last takeaway for myself as well. I would encourage people to watch the movie because it made me very uncomfortable, right? And I think a lot of times we watch films to escape, right? So we want something comfortable, and you know what I'm saying? But sometimes we should watch film to inform ourselves and to make ourselves aware, right? So I liked it. It made me uncomfortable. There were times in the film I just want to stop. You know what I'm saying? I was like, no, don't do that, And so I was like, no, something else, right? And so like it made me interact with it like that. And so that's the reason I love the film. And then it made me question and think about a lot of the things that the girls were going through. I have a 7-year-old, that's not far from 11, it freaks me out, right? Seeing, like, I remember seeing Coffee's reading her thread and her saying that it was very nostalgic for her, right? And then other people responding and being that it was nostalgic for them. That threw me for a loop. It's like, Coffee, what you talking about? What you mean it's nostalgic? But then was that's the first thing you said when you came on. You explained, you know what I'm saying? That not the whole thing, but there are aspects of the relationship happening between people that I find nostalgic, right? And then I also remember that Coffee grew up in California, if I'm not wrong, right? You grew up in Cali? Right. And so I grew up in Cali for a while too, but I left my first 3 months at middle school. But that's what it looked like. It reminded me like those big buildings and everything, and like all those lockers, and not really having that protection in the classroom that you have young. And then when you go into middle school, that hallway traffic, and there's just a lot of free time. You have to go from class to class, and you don't have the same protection that you have in class. And so that's why I really feel like. Go ahead. Go.
I just think that's an excellent point, because when you get back to latchkey and stuff in different cities like that, you don't have the yellow school buses. Like, I never took a yellow school bus to school or had parents drop you off. You do have all that time between leaving school and your mom's at work, and you're walking 8 to 10 miles, or you're taking a city bus or whatever you got to do, and you're out there. So it made more sense to me in terms of that being nostalgic, because it related to a different kind of upbringing.
Yeah, I mean, the nostalgia for me was sneaking, wearing one set of clothes at home and sneaking at school with another set of clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we did that. And
look, I had Jehovah's Witness friends. That came to school and changed.
I lived in, my mom, we did all of that, and fire baptized, speaking in other tongues, and falling out. So it was, so when I was 11, I was sneaking, me and my sisters, and putting pants in our bags and lipstick and other stuff, and going to school. We were, we were not the Pentecostal girl that lived, on the other block. We were, who we were. But that's that peer-to-peer issue that we all see as, people who have mentored young people or educated them or whatever. You seen them come and you look at them, then you have some on different at first
Right.
period or whatever. And they got a whole nother outfit on, totally different. That's how we did. So that was nostalgic for me. When she did that, I was like, oh wow. Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I'm right there with her.
For sure. And then that's why I said, like, after Coffee explained it, I saw the nostalgia too, right? But when I read it in the thing, I was like, okay, so we're reliving. But it's like, for me, like, coldest winter ever, like I referred to it at first. I have friends who can understand that lifestyle. I can't understand it. You know what I'm saying? There are aspects of that lifestyle that I can understand, but I can't understand that lifestyle in coldest winter ever. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Ami, I felt like I was Ami. I just never became a cool girl. You know what I'm saying? I was always like, they look really cool. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could be in a group. You know?
Yes, I'm with you right there. Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted to say thank you, ladies, for an awesome discussion on Cuties, where we have been talking about representation and bandwagoning and just listening to what other people say as opposed to creating your own opinions. Mm-hmm. I want to go ahead and put up Via Faith's quote, because I think it was a perfect explanation of what we did today. She said, "Thank you for having this discussion. I was searching the internet for a grounded, non-white, non-biased perspective of this movie," right? So that's what we gave. We gave, non-biased, non-white perspective of a movie about Black life and Black culture.
Yes.
So again, thank you, ladies, Clarice, Agnolia. Thank you so much. And I'm sure I'm going to have them back for something else, maybe individually, maybe collectively. I don't know, but we're going to keep doing this, not necessarily every week, but we are going to get it done.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you ladies don't leave. I'm just going to end the conversation. Okay. Peace, you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.